Hi, my name is Cameron Cooper, and today I will be talking a little bit about access to clean water in Kenya. But first, I would like to introduce myself a little more fully. The past 3 months, I have been interning as a social media intern for Care Highway International. I have really enjoyed my time as a social media intern. I have been able to look into the lives of others through research on how they live in their countries. Specifically, Kenya is one of them. And it allowed me to really count my blessings of the things that I take for granted, such as access to clean water, which I will be talking about a little bit later, as I mentioned. A little bit more about me. I come from a large family. I have 5 brothers, who 3 of whom are married and have children. And I really enjoy spending time with my family, and I love my family. And one thing I've noticed about Care Highway International is its volunteers and its interns and everyone who is a part of Care Highway International is a family. And they take care of each other just as they take care of those who they serve. And those who they serve become a part of the Care Highway International family as well. And I have felt that aspect of family as I have interned within Care Highway International, just as I feel that love in my own family. And I am grateful to have experienced that. Also, a little bit more about me. I got engaged 3 months ago. It's a very exciting time in my life, and I'm grateful to have been able to spend part of that with Care Highway International. Like I said, today I will be giving a brief explanation about accessing clean water in Kenya. Kenya does not really have great access to water, or clean water at that, and it's very difficult for them to obtain it. There was a woman by the name of, if I can get her name here, Tara Rava Zolnikov. She studies water and the science behind it. That's what she does for a living. She studies how to purify water and to make it better. But she wanted to see what it was like to not have easy access to water. So she went and she got with a group of women in Kenya who have to go out and gather water. And she was able to experience that with them. They took her along on one of their water trips. And what happens on these water trips is they take jugs out to rivers or streams or wherever the nearest body of water is, sometimes miles away, and they fill their jug in that river or stream or body of water, and they hike it all the way back. Throughout this experience, Dr. Zolnikov was able to gain personal insight as to how they feel physically and mentally as they go on these water excursions to gather water. She described how difficult it was to wade through the water. The water was so scarce that she had to scoop water in with her hands because the water wasn't deep enough to dunk the jug. Her jug was only a 10-gallon jug and didn't weigh very much. It only weighed about 20 pounds, and she had struggles carrying it to and from. The trip only lasted 45 minutes to an hour, but the women told Dr. Zolnikov that usually trips took about an hour and a half to 2 hours, and they did them about 4 times a day, which means women spend 6 to 8 hours a day going and just fetching water, which is a crazy thing. And sometimes they have to walk miles, like I said, and they carry up to 50 pounds. The jug that Dr. Zolnikov was taking was a lot smaller than the water jugs that other women carry. Their jugs are 25 gallons and they weigh about 50 pounds on average. And these women even sometimes do that when they're pregnant. Or sometimes they have an infant carefully strapped to their chest as they take these walks so that they can care for the baby along the way. The reason I share this is to show how difficult it is just to get something that we take for granted here in America. How difficult it is for them to just turn the faucet on. They don't have a faucet in many places of Kenya. I mean, some places of Kenya do, but in many places they don't. And we can just go into our kitchen and turn on the faucet or get a drink of ice cold water on a hot summer's day. And these people can't do that. That's how difficult it is to access water in Kenya. But not only is accessing water difficult in Kenya, but it's not the cleanest of water either. There have been studies that show exactly how much bacteria is in the water. And I had a couple charts and graphs to show you and that I had prepared for you, but unfortunately I couldn't figure out how to get it embedded into the video because every time I tried to show it, it was backwards and it wasn't working out. But I do have a couple of charts and graphs that show this, but I will just explain them. So these scientists went out and they took samples of various waters in Kenya, and there are many different ways that people get water. They collect rainwater. Some areas of Kenya, the more urbanized, populated areas, will have running tap water. So they took samples of tap water, took samples of spring water, rainwater, river water, and even trough water. And the results are kind of shocking in some regards. So the units that they measured these in are called colony-forming units. So bacteria forms in little colonies, and they count those colonies per milliliter. So each milliliter of water has a certain amount of colonies of bacteria. So they tested for E. coli in these various waters. In spring water, there were 35.92 colony-forming units per milliliter. 6 in tap water, 160 in rainwater, 42.5 in river water, and 0 in trough water. You would think that trough water would be infested with E. coli, but in fact it actually isn't. They found 0 traces of E. coli there. Surprisingly enough, rainwater in Kenya has the highest concentration of E. coli. This is most likely because when rainwater lands, they were collecting rainwater from they tested the rainwater that was being collected, and the methods for being collected most likely are dirty and have the E. coli in there. Unfortunately, E. coli is most often found in fecal matter of both humans and animals, which is something kind of shocking and difficult to hear, that people are drinking this water. Not only is it dirty with dirt, but it also has E. coli in their rainwater. Then the other studies that they did were they tested for Staphylococcus infection and Clostridium, which is also another type of infection. And this will surprise you. In spring water, they found 8,177 colony-forming units per milliliter of water. That is intense. That is a lot of staph infection found in spring water. And spring water is supposed to be clean. It comes from underground, and you would expect it to be clean and purified and drinkable. But this water is actually not drinkable. It can lead to diarrhea, dysentery, and many other infection problems that can arise, and even sometimes death. More so among children ages under 5. So these are just 2 challenges that you see in Kenya concerning water, and they're very detrimental. But there are some solutions that can help. One is obviously water purification. There are many methods for water purification. They have used in the past chemical purification, but scientists are slowly finding out that there are many detriments to using chemical components to purify water. They found that the best way is to do it with filters or other means like that. But filters can sometimes be hard to get in Kenya or expensive for the wages that they receive. And so the best way for them as individuals to do this is solar disinfection. And solar disinfection, you basically take a water bottle or a jug and you place it on a roof, a tin roof, in between the ridges, and the sun heats up the ridges and warms the water to the proper temperature, just above 70 degrees Celsius, so that it kills the bacteria before you drink it. This saves fire. This saves firewood that you would need to burn in order to boil water, and also saves a lot of money that you would be spending on filters or chemical disinfection methods. Another solution is to provide portable hand washing and drinking water stations that are filtered water. These filters cost about $25, and they are ceramic, or they come in little drums. I had a picture of it again on my slide. But why I mention hand washing is because dirty hands is a big reason why water is polluted. People go to the bathroom and they wash their hands in the water, which is how fecal matter and E. coli get into the water supply. And with the increasing population of people, this increases the bacteria. So if we can teach people how to wash their hands properly and give them clean water to wash their hands with, they will be more aware of those problems, and they will know how to handle them. And then obviously drinking water. A lot of times in hospitals, or I guess healthcare facilities in Kenya, they even provide medications with this disinfected water, with this contaminated water. And those pills are pretty much nothing if you're drinking them or if you're washing them down with disinfected water. That's just going to cause more problems than it will help. In fact, your illness and your symptoms will increase and get worse if you're taking medication with the contaminated water. And these places don't know that. It's important to educate on hygiene, and it's very important to educate on hygiene and how to properly disinfect water. So those are just a couple solutions that I came across in my studies that will be able to help Kenya with this problem. But there's one catch. There's two things that stop solutions to this problem from happening. One is money, and then the other is social capital. So money and social capital. Obviously, finances are difficult to come by. If each drum costs $25 and you need 20 in every city, that's going to be a lot of money. A lot of money that nonprofit organizations don't have, a lot of money that Kenyan citizens do not have. And how are we going to get the money to do that? Even though it is cheap, $25, that's cheap. $25 to put one of those in somebody's home. They last 2 years and with no additional cost. $25 and you get 2 years of filtered water, which seems crazy, but it's hard to access. So money is an issue. And the other one is, like I said, social capital. And what social capital is, it's people coming together to help. It's people coming together to share their skills, their talents, their efforts, their time, and all that they have to help others. to make society a better place. It's people in society coming together to make society a better place. And we do not have a lot of this in the world today. If you want to get people out to Kenya to check the water supply, if you want to get people out to Kenya to put pipes in and to put filters in, it's going to cost a lot of money because they're going to charge big bucks to share their skills. But if we can find people who are willing to cast that aside, people who are willing to partake in social capital and help share their skills, their talents, their money. A lot of people don't have time. A lot of people don't have skills, but they do have a little bit of extra money that they could help give to those in need. Think about it. If everybody just gave $25, which could be a lot of money, but to me, $25 is just a couple hours wage, not a big deal. If I were just to give $25, I could give somebody 2 years of purified water. I could give a whole family in Kenya purified water. Just a little bit goes such a long way with these newfound cheap methods. I don't want to say cheap, but inexpensive, efficient methods of helping others. And that is what we need to promote. That is the biggest thing. I'm not saying that it cures and it solves the problem. Social capital is not going to solve world problems, but what it will do is it will launch the solutions to solving world problems. It will take those things, it will take those solutions and act as a catalyst to propel them forward, which is a very, very important thing. It is very necessary in achieving solutions to world problems. And so those are two things that stand in the way of these solutions working that need to be addressed. So benefits of knowing this. How can Care Highway International use this? Well, simply Care Highway International can use this information to share it with others, to put it on their website, maybe get more involved with water. I know that Care Highway does a lot with children, which is a very fantastic thing. They do a lot with education, or so I've heard recently. A lot of the stuff that they've been doing has been helping with education and health, giving shots and providing medications to those who don't have access to it, which are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful things. But maybe they could launch a project on emphasizing accessing clean water in Kenya. They could do a fundraiser and ask for donations to their contributors so that these problems can be brought to fruition and to be understood by a large group of people. Care Highway International has the ability to do that, and knowing this information can give them the confidence and the credibility to do so. So I feel like this is very beneficial for Care Highway to know, and I look forward to seeing where this goes, to seeing what happens. Hopefully we can find people in the world who are willing to help and take part in this effort to bring accessible clean water to Kenya. But not only Kenya, but all parts of the world. There are many developing countries that are struggling with the same water struggles. I have a friend that lives in Guatemala, and he talks about how some of the more poor areas of Guatemala, he's really rich in Guatemala, he makes lots of money, but some of the more poor areas in Guatemala, they don't have water, they don't have clean water, they're all sick, and it's places all over the world that are suffering from this, and it's little steps like taking care of Kenya first, or having Care Highway International back this issue would be huge. To close, I just want to thank you for your time and listening. I am very grateful for the opportunity that I have had to be a part of Care Highway International. I am very grateful for the opportunity that I have had to research wonderful new things and to learn how I can benefit the lives of others. Thank you very much.